I'd like to give an example of why you shouldn't trust just anyone and their alleged sources. I've gotten some notoriety, not much, but a little bit, and have had some engagement and conversations with people in the comments. While I continue to press for evidence instead of appeals to authority or pivoting, I ended up getting this statement from William Marks, someone we will study in depth later. The commenter says here, according to Marx, Joseph said, I have been deceived in this thing, polygamy, and it must be put down. I thought it would be an advantage to mankind, but I find it proves a curse. So, Joseph is unequivocally against polygamy, yet for some reason feels it is advantageous to the people? Makes no sense. Let's talk about this quote. The commenter here has their own YouTube channel and website of which they expand on this William Marks quote. But let's pay close attention to what they do here. I have been deceived, said he, in reference to its practice. It is wrong. It is a curse to mankind, and we shall have to leave the United States soon unless it can be put down, and its practice stopped in the church. ... I mentioned the circumstances of these conversations with Joseph to many of the brethren immediately after his death, and so on and so on. The immediate question you should be asking yourself is, what is contained in the ... And why did this YouTube user, twice now, choose to leave it out? Here's a document of this letter on archive.org. Joseph, however, became convinced before his death that he had done wrong. For about 3 weeks before his death, I met him one morning in secret, and he said to me, Brother Marks, I have something to communicate to you. We retired to a by-place and sat down together when he said, we are a ruined people. I asked, how so? He said, this doctrine of polygamy or spiritual wife system that has been taught and practiced among us will prove our destruction and overthrow. Notice he said among us. He didn't say that he taught it. I have been deceived, said he, in reference to its practice. It is wrong. Notice how it says, I have been deceived. That's its own statement. And then, in reference to his practice, it is wrong. It is a curse to mankind, and we shall have to leave the United States soon unless it can be put down, and its practice stopped in the church. Now, said he, Brother Marks, you have not received this doctrine, and how glad I am. I want you to go into the High Council, and I will have charges preferred against all who practice this doctrine, and I want you to try them by the laws of the church and cut them off if they will not repent and cease the practice of this doctrine. And said he, I will go into the stand and preach against it with all my might, and in this way we may rid the church of this damnable heresy. I'm not telling you to believe me. In fact, there's a reason I show all the sources and give a link to the sources in the comments below. YouTube restricts some of the links that I do, so I always give a source that you can look up. If I get something wrong, I'd like to be corrected. It happens, we make mistakes. But to intentionally mislead and leave out key information with an ellipsis is completely baffling to me, and this is not acceptable. Watch out for the wolves. Join us next time for the official episode number 4, The Truth of God.